Okay, so can you do an online acupuncture course? Well, that was probably the question that I asked myself for so long. Having taught the in-person course for many years, one of the biggest weaknesses I discovered with my students who did the course over a number of days was that they they tended to retain about 20% of the information that was taught over the in-person course, and about 80% of the information they just absolutely lost. And that's just because we're people. We have short attention spans. We've got a lot on our minds. There's a lot of new stuff, lots of new words that we have to learn and we don't remember. We think of a question and then we start to obsess about the answer for the question. And so I found that students just didn't retain a lot of information. And after the course, when they needed to begin their 50 practical training sessions, which I supervise through general supervision, which means I don't need to be present. And the reason for that is it's a risk-free protocol. In 40 years, in more than 40 countries, there's never been a malpractice suit. So even if you miss a point, you can't cause any damage. When the students had to begin their practical, they would ask me questions via WhatsApp that they should have already had the answers to. So, over the years, I developed what we called the Dropbox course resources, which was available to all of the students that did the in-person course once they'd done it. That had videos, audios, diagrams, photographs, the manuals, um, um, with very clear instructions on what to do, step by step information, which is very well structured in the online course today. So when it came time to launching the online course, it didn't take me very long to build the structure on a previous platform on teachable.com. But with teachable.com, I found the biggest problem that I had and that any content creator had is that if your material is on that platform, you don't really own it. And if you can't afford to pay them their quarterly or annually or monthly subscriptions for some reason, or a debit order doesn't go through for some reason, you could lose all your content. So it just didn't make sense to keep my content there, and I moved it to my own domain under acudetox.co.za and a subdomain online.acudetox.co.za. So I created it very quickly, and then crunch time came, and I was put to the test. But this course material has been put together over a 15-year period, and the actual NADA portion of the course material has been put together over 40 years. So, NADA and AcuDetox Clinics South Africa has spent a lot of time putting together the course content. That's the first thing you need to keep in mind. The next thing you need to keep in mind is that it's not actually that difficult. I think the biggest problem that anybody has when they come to do an acupuncture course, when it comes to ear acupuncture, is overcoming fear of the unknown, and secondly, fear of sticking a needle into somebody. So the first thing you need to understand about ear acupuncture is you can't cause any harm. Even if you miss a point, you can't cause any damage. Having said that, we do have one contraindication, and that is we don't treat women in their last trimester of pregnancy, and that is because it can induce labor. Having said that, one of our practitioners has actually used the protocol to induce labor. And that was where a woman had carried for full term and she still wasn't going into labor. And so we arranged to meet her in the maternity ward with the specialists present, and she gave her AccuDetox, and within an hour she went into labor. So we don't use it on women in their last trimester of pregnancy. For anybody else, it's quite safe to do even if you miss a point. So keeping that in mind, it really is just fear of the unknown. Please excuse my dogs going backwards and forwards. They're obsessed with noises. And I need to keep the doors closed in order to do this video, to keep the outside noise out of this video. So unfortunately, the dogs are going to go backwards and forwards, and I'd rather not lock them in a room just to make a video. So that's me. I'm pretty down to earth and straightforward, and so you'll have funny things like this happening in the course. But I click my fingers and it normally breaks their concentration and they get back to being quiet. So overcoming your fear of the unknown and your fear of sticking a needle into somebody else. The one thing that every practitioner has to learn to do, and that is to disconnect from other people's discomfort. Because someone else is in an uncomfortable space, or if someone else is in pain, doesn't mean that we have to be. And so the person who's in pain or discomfort, we use the word discomfort, it's not our problem, it's their problem. That's something that they need to learn how to overcome, not us. Our job is to put the needles in correctly, as quickly as possible, and then when time comes, to take them out as quickly as possible. That's our job. And our job is to help them through the process by getting them to focus on their breathing. And we just do a breathing exercise while we're putting the needles in. We just tell them to breathe in through their nose, breathe out through their mouth. We do it at the same time, and that calms the person down. Because they're focusing on breathing out, they're not focusing on the needle insertion. And we'll know when they're focusing on the needle being inserted because they'll stop breathing. If at any point they go, we know that they are focusing on discomfort. And then we just say to them, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out. And then just by them doing that, we get the needle in quickly. And once the needle is in, they don't feel any discomfort. When the needles are in, people do not feel any discomfort. And if they do report any discomfort, we just give it a little bit of a twist and the discomfort normally goes away. Or if it is causing a lot of discomfort, we can always just take the needle out. And we find out which one's causing discomfort just by tapping it slightly with our fingernail. So that is really the most difficult part of this course. Otherwise, everything is very clearly explained in pre-recorded videos, audios, diagrams, photographs, downloadable manuals, and very clear instructions. And what I've found is that our online students do just as well, if not better, than the in-person students. And that is the truth. It's just as simple as that. Now it's a case of just taking a risk and giving it a go. It's really not that hard. If someone like me, who was a recovering addict, who's trying to turn his life around and help others, could do it, then you can do it, And I'm not all that intelligent. I'm not some super genius or some specially skilled person. I'm just a person who teaches things in lay terms so that everybody can understand them. And that's because the people who taught me, Dr. Jim Richards and Dr. Michael Smith, were able to teach in lay terms so that I could understand it. So I hope you'll give this course a bash. You know, you'll notice a lot of ums and ahs. I'm not here to try and do things in one take, you know, and edit. And so things are very down to earth. There may be umming and ahhing from time to time. And sometimes I'll want to say one word and another word will come out and I'll correct myself. But that's just who I am. Take it or leave it. So I hope that you will become a student very soon. And I'm always available to contact to my students. I'm always available to contact during office hours, telephonically, via email, or via WhatsApp. And you know, I like to just give a voice note via WhatsApp to answer all your questions. I find it a lot faster than typing emails or typing WhatsApps. I find it a lot more personal as well. So all the best. Good luck to you. And wherever you are, I hope you're well. Bye-bye now.